The senior special assistant to the Nigerian president on diaspora affairs, Abike Dabriarawa, hinted that the German embassy in Nigeria has intimated her office about the plans to repatriate 12,000 Nigerians who are seeking asylum in the country. She describes the development as unfortunate, adding that 128 Nigerians also died while trying to cross the Mediterranean Sea. Joining us on Skype from Belgium to discuss this issue is global affairs analyst Collins Nweke. Collins, thank you very much indeed for joining us this time.
My pleasure to be here, Ikechubu. Thanks for having me.
Right. You remember very clearly that the 1951 Geneva Convention, of course, states that asylum seekers must be able to prove that they are unable to seek protection from the existing authorities in their country, and that's why they are seeking asylum. No doubt, these ones have met the conditions before they were granted that status. So what are the reasons we have now for the German authorities to want to deport them?
As a matter of fact, I think it's actually the opposite. The opposite in terms of the individuals who are slated to be deported back to Nigeria haven't actually been able to prove. That's what I believe is the case. They haven't been able to prove that they are fleeing persecution in line with the Geneva Convention of 1951. And so, normally speaking, when the procedure has been exhausted and you have been unable to make the case for refugee or asylum status, you are then, attempts are then made by the government in question, in this case, Germany, to deport those people back to the countries where they believe that they originated from.
Now, Collins, 12,000, that's a huge number. I mean, why are we sending them back in such huge number instead of probably bit by bit, step by step, and, take it easy on the Nigerian government and Nigeria itself?
As a matter of fact, I do have some bad news for you. Bad news because the actual number is 12,900. So we're looking at nearly 13,000, individuals who are supposedly Nigerians. Now, I use the word supposedly deliberately because there are reasons to believe that not all the individuals are actually Nigerians. We do know from intelligence reports that some of these individuals who claim to be Nigerians are actually other nationals of other African countries who are taking advantage of some political crisis in Nigeria, for example, the Boko Haram insurgents, to claim asylum in some parts of Africa. And that is exactly where the problem lies. The problem lies there in two different fronts. Front number one, I have to say it up front, that every country, and that includes Germany, has the right, maybe even the obligation, to protect their borders and, get rid of anybody who is believed, not to have the right to stay there. So there is no question about that. But the way and manner it is done actually matters. It matters because you are supposed to have been seen to have exhausted all legal and human and moral, procedures available before such persons, attempts are made for such people to be deported or repatriated to wherever they came from. Now, in question, there are some reasons to believe that the individuals, they haven't been able to prove their nationalities, and they haven't been able to now go to the diplomatic missions, the embassies, in Germany, to obtain a legal document, the laissez-passer as they call it, or travel, travel certificate, to be able to deport them back to those countries. So really, there are some, untidy situations surrounding this deportation. And as we speak, I am aware that a number of rights organizations actually preparing very strong briefs to challenge this massive deportation exercise.
All right, under the circumstance, of course, as we know, the asylum seekers do have right under the refugee law within which they can, pursue their case. But do you think that the Nigerian government has done enough, really, to protect her citizens in situations like this?
Well, the available information and evidence actually can lead one to believe the Nigerian government could still do more than they have done. I mean, at the beginning of this bulletin, in your introductory remarks, you talked about the special assistant to President Muhammadu Buhari, Mrs. Abike Dabiri Erewa, who, apart from describing the situation as unfortunate, hasn't quite given us more information about what the Nigerian government has done. For example, one of the key questions here is, to what extent has, these individuals been identified legally and, convincingly as Nigerians? That's one. Two, to what extent are we actually, as a country, playing into the hands of Germans? Don't forget that just a few weeks ago, the German Home Secretary actually issued out a threat to African leaders to say that if individuals countries are not received by the African, governments, that they will consider a travel ban on those, African leaders. Now, when the government of Nigeria goes quiet or give us so little information, one begins to then wonder if the hands of the Nigerian government is tied, if they are actually playing into the threat that the German Home Secretary, has issued. So I believe that the government of Nigeria actually needs to explain more in terms of what they have done or what they haven't done. And I believe that there are quite a lot that the government of Nigeria can do to ensure that the rights of these individuals are actually not being trampled upon. That's number one. Number two, I do believe that the Nigerian government has one or two leverages, to rest on and actually negotiate a fair situation for these, citizens of Nigerians in Germany.
Okay, shipping migrants back home. That's what Germany is doing. Thank you so much for your time, Collins Wake, on the broadcast.
My pleasure. Thank you.